tons of people have been knocking on my door saying, how do you know it's a trade? What do you trade? What do you trade? Because, you know, I have like 50 views on my channel and 1 subscriber. But for real though, this is how you minimize your mistakes, increase your profitability, and know what to trade. I'll show you right here. That's a notebook. I track all my trades. Day 1. So I keep track of all my days, and then this, I keep track of what time I get into everything at. And what I think is the most important thing is right here. I keep track of the stocks that I've won on and the stocks that I've lost on. If I take 2 losses on a stock, I'm never trading that thing again, most likely. So, you know, another important thing to journal about on your trades is not only what happened that day, but also journal the things that you're looking forward to for the next day, things that you're stocking, keeping a track of. And it's just page after page. Sometimes so yeah. Current results, because I didn't really start doing some serious trading until about 2.5 months ago. I'd say I sold some silver, and and that increased some funds that I had. And so I split up between a cash account and a margin account, which gave me a little bit more flexibility around the PD2 rule, but it still really hasn't been enough. But when I did that, as you can see here, started off with quite a few mistakes. This is about October, I think, September. 9/26 was my first trade when I switched things up, gave myself some more flexibility, because I was just kind of poking around with the VWAP and trading. I mean, I've been trying to trade for 4 or 5 years, but took a lot of losses at first, and it really helped journaling right here. See that big loss right there? That really killed me. My first loss on TVX. Trading the UVXY is just dumb. The other big loss I took, negative 361, that's my first options trade. I knew that was a rather risky trade when I took it. I was on the road, left Vegas with my tail between my legs, played like a day's worth of poker basically, and decided to swing for the fences on my first option trade, which I knew it was dumb, but I mean, other than that, and not to mention on 9/26 when this first started, like these first about 10 or 12 trades, I was still with commission, so I mean, there's about $100 worth of commission in here, so yeah, I mean, had I not been on a road trip, having just lost some money in Vegas. Kind of unsure of really what I was. Unsure of what my plans were and what. I was kind of lost on this trip, but I mean, take away that 361 trade, where I lost 361 on the options. Not to mention, I did trade about a year and a half ago. I did like 7 trades. My very first introduction to the VWAP, my very first introduction to Kenny, I was actually trading another account, a relative's account. And I was picking out a little bit of what the Hit the Bid Room was teaching, basically the 1 minute VWAP earnings reversal. And I was actually up $150 off that. So I mean, all in all, I'm up on the VWAP trades. I got the numbers to prove it. So there's that, and then this is probably the greatest book on trading you can ever read. And there's a free audiobook on YouTube. And I just got this for Christmas. I'll even show you some of the notes I took on my audiobook. Here's where I keep track of all the earnings reversals. Not the earnings reversals, but all the upcoming earnings, which there hasn't been a lot since it's Christmas. These cards are from Trading in the Zone. 5 Fundamental Truths of Consistency. The 7 Principles of Consistency and 5 Fundamental Truths. I try to read those every day before I trade. So this is all Trading in the Zone notes. Because it doesn't matter how good you are at spotting a high probability setup. If you don't have your mental game under control, you're gonna lose. You gotta have discipline and you gotta have consistency. Or you'll never be a trader. You'll always find a way to self-sabotage yourself. I also keep a lot of these old earnings. These are like, the old earnings. Just because it's good to look back and see who reported. It's good to have that. So yeah, that's stuff if you want to be a trader, I think. I mean, there's a lot of information you have to keep track of. Because you have to improve, you have to minimize your mistakes, increase your profitability. If you're wondering, the 5 fundamental truths from Trading in the Zone are: anything can happen. You don't need to know what will happen next to make money. There is a random distribution between wins and losses for any set of variables that define an edge, i.e., this trade really isn't affected by the next trade that you take. An edge is nothing more than a probability of one thing happening over another. Every moment in the market is unique. And the 7 principles of consistency are kind of the same. I objectively identify my edge. I predefine the risk of every trade. I completely accept the risk, or I'm willing to let the trade go. That one is huge. If you can't accept the risk, you're going to go into a trade too emotional. Once you accept the risk, then you can start looking at the trade with no emotions. I act on my edges without hesitation or reservation. Have you ever noticed that when you're in a trade and you end up losing money on it, it's not as painful as missing out on a trade that you almost entered but decided not to, and then you see it just shoot up on you? That's because when you enter a trade, you take a loss, you can just be like, oh, well, the market's acting funky today. You can blame it on the market. But when you hesitate and then that trade idea turns out to be a huge idea, subconsciously you just know that you can't blame it on anyone else but yourself, you know? And that's why it's more painful. I pay myself as the market makes money available to me. That gets into the whole thing about selling your position off in lots. I continually monitor my susceptibility for making errors. That's why you journal. I understand the absolute necessity of these principles of consistent success, and therefore I never violate them. Really, your main objective as a trader is to be consistent and to have discipline. But anyway, just bored here. Thought I'd share all this.